Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ms. English Buddy, the place where learning English is easy, fun, and full of interesting conversations. I'm Emma, and as always, I'm so excited to be here with my friend Leo. How are you today, Leo?
Hi, Emma. I'm doing really well, thank you. I have my cup of coffee with me, so I'm feeling extra energetic. Every time we start our chats, I feel like we're stepping into a whole new world of stories and learning. And today's topic is super interesting, the past.
Yes, the past is something we all have, and it's full of lessons, memories, and even mysteries. I think it's fascinating because when we talk about the past, we're not just remembering, we're learning how to describe events in English, how to share stories, and how to connect with others.
Exactly. And the past can be so rich. You can talk about your childhood, school days, first jobs, or even simple moments like learning to ride a bicycle. It's all about storytelling, and storytelling is one of the best ways to practice English naturally.
I agree. So maybe we can start with something simple. Leo, can you tell me about one of your favorite childhood memories? Something that really stands out for you?
Oh, absolutely. One memory that always makes me smile is the summer when I learned how to swim. I must have been around 8 years old. My parents took me to a small lake near our village, and I was so nervous at first. I remember holding on to the edge of the lake, feeling the cold water on my toes and thinking, I can't do this. But then my father held my hands, encouraged me, and step by step I learned to float, then kick, and finally swim across a small part of the lake. That moment was magical because I felt proud of myself and also a little fearless for the first time.
Wow, Leo, that's such a vivid memory. And I love how detailed you are. You're actually showing the listeners how to describe past experiences with feelings, actions, and even tiny details like the cold water or your father's encouragement. That's exactly what we should do when we talk about the past in English.
Yes, Emma. And describing the past isn't just about saying what happened, it's about showing the story. For example, instead of just saying, I learned to swim, you can say, I was nervous, but with my father's help, I slowly learned to float and kick my legs. I felt proud and fearless. See the difference? It's more engaging and more alive.
Exactly. And we can also add time markers to make it clear we are talking about the past. Words like when I was a child, last summer, in 2010, yesterday, or a few years ago are very useful. For example, when I was a child, I loved climbing trees. Or a few years ago, I visited my grandparents and learned how to bake bread. These markers help the listener follow the timeline of your story.
Yes, and another fun thing we can do is compare the past with the present. For example, when I was a child, I used to play outside every day, but now I mostly work on my computer. The phrase used to is perfect for talking about past habits that don't happen anymore.
Oh yes, used to is so important. Many learners forget about it, but it's very natural in English. Like, I used to ride my bike to school every day. Or, I used to hate vegetables, but now I love them. It's a simple phrase, but it gives so much depth to our past stories.
Absolutely, Emma. And while we're at it, we can also talk about the past simple tense. This is the main tense we use when we describe completed actions in the past. For example, I visited my friend yesterday, or I watched a movie last night. The structure is simple. For regular verbs, we add ed at the end, like visited or watched. And for irregular verbs, we just have to memorize them, like went, ate, saw.
Right, Leo. And it's fun to make the past simple tense part of a story. For instance, instead of saying, I ate breakfast, we can say, yesterday morning, I woke up early, made a delicious breakfast, and ate it while listening to my favorite music. See? It's not just grammar, it's storytelling.
Exactly. And storytelling makes English more memorable. I still remember when I was learning English as a kid, my teacher asked us to write about a day I will never forget. I wrote a story about my first school trip. I used simple past sentences like we went, we played, we laughed, and by the end of it, I realized that practicing the past tense this way was fun and natural.
Oh, I love that, Leo. And we can give some tips for our listeners on how to practice talking about the past. For example, keep a small diary, write down what happened yesterday, or even record yourself telling a story about your childhood. This helps you remember vocabulary, practice tenses, and get confident speaking.
Yes, and adding details makes the stories much more interesting. Instead of just saying, I went to the park, you can say, last Saturday, I went to the park near my house. The sun was shining, children were playing, and the smell of fresh flowers was everywhere. I sat under a big tree and read my favorite book. That gives the listener a picture in their mind.
Exactly. And that's one of the best ways to make your English sound natural. We're not just talking about grammar. We're talking about moments, feelings, and experiences. And when you tell these stories, don't worry too much about mistakes. The more you speak, the better you get.
Absolutely. And another fun exercise is to ask questions about the past. For example, if you're practicing with a friend, you can ask, what did you do last weekend? Or when was the last time you tried something new? Then you can answer with detailed stories. For example, last weekend, I went hiking with my friends. We climbed a small mountain, saw beautiful views, and even had a picnic at the top. It was exhausting, but amazing.
Yes, questions make the conversation interactive and engaging. And I think it's also important to use feelings and emotions in past stories. Like, I was nervous, I felt excited, I was surprised, or I was proud. Emotions make stories relatable.
Exactly. And we can even combine these with cause and effect. For example, I was nervous because it was my first swimming lesson, but I felt proud after I swam across the small lake. This makes the story richer and more natural.
Yes, Leo. And another fun way to practice is by telling a story step by step. Start from the beginning, move to the middle, and finish with the end. For example, when I was 10, I adopted a little puppy. At first, he was very shy and scared. I spent time every day playing with him and teaching him tricks. After a few months, he became my best friend. Step-by-step storytelling is easy for listeners to follow.
Yes, and we can also share lessons from the past. For example, when I was younger, I used to procrastinate a lot, but over time I learned the importance of planning my day. This makes your stories not just fun, but also meaningful.
Absolutely. And I think our listeners will enjoy trying this. They can pick any moment from their past, funny, exciting, or even a little embarrassing, and tell it in English. For example, one time I wore my shirt inside out to school and didn't realize it until lunchtime. I felt embarrassed, but laughed about it later. Stories like this are memorable and fun.
Emma, do you remember the first time you traveled alone? That's always such a powerful memory for most people.
Oh, yes, Leo. I was 19 and I traveled to a nearby city by train. I remember feeling a mix of excitement and fear. I had to plan everything, my tickets, my hotel, even what to eat. When I got on the train, I was nervous because it was my first solo trip, but I also felt proud, like I was finally doing something independently. That feeling stayed with me for days.
Wow, Emma, that's amazing. And see how you're giving us time, feelings, and details? That's exactly how we should narrate past experiences. For our listeners, let's break it down. You first set the scene, when and where it happened, then share your actions, what you did, and finally reflect on feelings, how it made you feel.
Exactly. And this approach works for any story, not just travel. For example, I could tell a story about my first day at school. I was so shy. My hands were sweaty, and I couldn't stop looking around at all the other children. But my teacher smiled at me, and that made me feel safe. By the end of the day, I even made a new friend.
And Emma, that's a perfect way to include emotions, cause and effect, and step-by-step actions. Listeners, notice that she didn't just say,
I was shy. She explained why she was shy, what she did, and how it changed by the end of the story. That's a complete story in English.
Yes, Leo. And we can also teach vocabulary about feelings here. Words like nervous, excited, proud, embarrassed, amazed, frustrated, surprised, and relieved are very useful when talking about the past. Instead of always saying, I was happy, we can say, I was thrilled, or I felt overjoyed. It makes the story more colorful.
Exactly. And we should also remind learners to use past continuous tense for actions that were ongoing. For example, I was walking to school when I saw a cute little puppy. The past continuous is perfect for adding background or explaining what was happening at the same time.
Right. And we can even mix past simple and past continuous in the same story. Like, I was reading a book when the phone rang. That makes English sound natural and fluent.
Emma, can you give a funny story from your past using past continuous?
Sure. When I was 12, I was practicing dancing in my living room, completely focused, and my cat jumped on my head. I screamed, tripped over my own feet, and landed on the sofa. My parents laughed so much, and I felt embarrassed, but it was also hilarious.
That's perfect, Emma. And listeners, notice how she used past continuous to show ongoing action. I was practicing dancing, and then past simple for the sudden event. My cat jumped on my head. This combination is very natural in English.
Yes, Leo. And storytelling can also include lessons or reflections. For example, that day I learned to always check where my cat is before dancing. Adding a little lesson makes the story memorable.
Exactly. And Emma, let's talk about past habits. These are things we did regularly in the past but don't do anymore. We already mentioned used to. For example, I used to collect stamps as a child, or I used to play football every weekend. Listeners, try to think of 5 things you used to do when you were younger. It's a great practice.
Yes, and we can make it even more fun by asking questions in past tense. For example, what games did you play when you were a child? Or who was your favorite teacher? Then we answer with full stories. For example, I played hide and seek and tag with my friends every afternoon. One time, I hid so well that my friend couldn't find me for almost an hour.
I can imagine. And this leads us to storytelling tips for beginners. Step 1, choose a memory. Step 2, think about who, what, when, where, why, and how. Step 3, include feelings. Step 4, reflect or add a lesson. Following these steps makes it much easier to speak in English from the past.
Exactly, Leo. And sometimes we can mix imagination with real past events. For example, I could say, when I was a child, I imagined my dog could talk. I would tell him my secrets, and I imagined him answering me back. Even though this didn't really happen, it's fun and helps with creativity in English.
Yes, and learners can practice speaking fluently by imagining what-if scenarios in the past. Like, what if I studied harder in school? Or what if I traveled to another country when I was 10? This encourages thinking in English and using past tenses naturally.
Leo, let's also give listeners some fun exercises. First, try writing a short diary entry about yesterday. Include 3 things you did, how you felt, and any interesting details. Second, try telling a story to a friend using past simple, past continuous, and used to. Third, pick one story from your childhood and make it funny by adding exaggerations or imagination.
Yes, and to make it even more practical, learners should practice listening and repeating stories. For example, listen to a podcast, a YouTube story, or even a friend's story in English. Then try to retell it in your own words. This helps with grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, and confidence.
Absolutely. And another tip, use connectors for past stories. Words like then, after that, later, suddenly, meanwhile, finally, and at the end help your story flow smoothly. For example, I woke up early, then I had breakfast, and after that, I went to the park. It makes your English sound natural and fluent.
Emma, can we share another personal story? Maybe something emotional.
Sure. When I was 15, I won a small art competition at school. I still remember the feeling. My hands were shaking as I received the certificate, my classmates clapped, and I felt so proud. That day, I realized that hard work really pays off. And I still keep that certificate on my shelf. It's a reminder of my younger self.
That's beautiful, Emma. And that story teaches a lesson while also showing how to use past simple and emotions effectively. Listeners, notice the words remember, felt, realized, kept. All past simple verbs that tell the story clearly.